What's up, guys? I'm Josh Mosman. Welcome to This Week in MXA, episode number 192, presented by O'Neill Racing. Thank you guys for tuning in to this episode. Ken Roczen versus Hayden Deegan this weekend. It's going down in the 250 class at Ironman. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about Budds Creek. We'll talk about World Supercross and share some clips from Surfercross, Vegas to Reno, and also our latest project bike test. Let's get into it. Starting off, Ken Roczen and Haiden Deegan going to head-to-head this weekend at the Ironman National. It's going to be an exciting one. Our own Jim Kimball, he interviewed Larry Brooks, Ken Roczen's team manager, this past weekend, and Larry explained that it's actually the BarX Suzuki team who gave Ken Roczen two bikes, a practice bike and a race bike. BarX Suzuki is the 250 side, HEP Suzuki is the 450 side. They're not related at all, but it was nice for the BarX team to help HEP and build them a bike just for Ken Roczen. Jamie Ellis, he is the connection dot between the two of them. Jamie builds Ken Roczen's engines and all the 450 engines for Suzuki. He also builds BarX Suzuki's 250 engines, and I know that thing is fast. I rode it a couple years ago. I rode Dylan Schwartz's bike. We did a test on it, and you guys can check that out on our YouTube channel and on our website. I was seriously impressed with how fast Schwartz's bike was, and I know it's only gotten faster since then with the electric water pump being added and more time and R&D by Jamie. So exciting to see how Ken will do, but I also know that it's not the fastest bike on the track still. It is a Suzuki. It's starting out quite a bit lower on horsepower than the other brands, almost 6 horsepower off the KTM just in stock form. So it's starting out at a big deficit. It's going to be interesting to see how Ken does. Obviously, Ken doesn't want to go out there and finish 12th place, but you got to think about it. Ken is already a 2-time 450 national champion in the outdoors, so Ken has had an amazing career. I don't think a 12th or an 8th will be any kind of bruise or blemish on his career. He's doing this as a publicity stunt, and we got to commend him for it. So Ken Roczen, I don't expect him to light the world on fire, but I hope he does. I hope he has some awesome starts and runs up front with the guys. It'll be interesting to see how he does versus Haiden Deegan. Hayden got the championship in Moto 1 last weekend. Then Moto 2 had a bad start. It just didn't have the motivation to push through the pack. He's already thinking about, celebrating his championship and already thinking about SMX championship coming up after this. So this week, Hayden will be riding super motocross, hybrid style track with a lot of supercross on it. He's, definitely got his sights set on that. But then with Ken Roczen coming out this weekend, it's the battle we never anticipated to see. Hayden is 18 years old, Ken Roczen 30 years old. We didn't think we would see that anytime soon, but it's going to be cool. The guys who do have a lot of pressure on their shoulders are Tom Vialle. Tom Vialle hasn't got an outdoor win this year, so he's looking to finally get one at the last round. Also, Chance Hymas, he did win at Redbud, but he's looking for another one after showing insane speed at Unadilla and also great speed last weekend. So 250 class, going to be an exciting one. Got to say thank you to Ken Roczen for making it so much more exciting this weekend coming into the finale. Next up, 450 class, Chase Sexton has a 28-point gap again going into the finale this weekend at Ironman. Kind of funny, Chase had a 28-point lead after Washougal. Then at Budds Creek and Unadilla, the last 2 rounds, Hunter won the first moto, Chase won the second moto. That means they've tied on points each time. So now it's been 3 weekends in a row that he's left with a 28-point lead. So that means going into this weekend at Ironman, if Chase wins the first moto or places second in the first moto, then he'll wrap up the championship with 1 moto to go. If Chase finishes 3rd in the first moto and Hunter Lawrence wins it, that'll take the championship to the last moto. So Chase has a healthy gap, but he still has to perform to wrap up this championship. Awesome to see Eli Tomac back also this last weekend. He placed 4th in the first moto, showing some awesome speed, but 11th place in the second moto gave him a 7th overall. So we're looking forward to seeing how he does at Ironman this weekend. Also, cool news, Eli Tomac announced last week that he's going to be racing the World Supercross Championship. 4 rounds this year. It's starting off at the BC Place Stadium in Vancouver, Canada. Now that's a massive stadium. Supercross used to go there back in the day when it was the pre-season to the AMA Supercross, the World Supercross Championship. So Vancouver, massive stadium at the BC Place. They run soccer games in there, so it's going to be a big full-scale Supercross track. Then they go to Australia, to Perth, to HBF Stadium there, HBF Park, and that's a full-size stadium as well. They run soccer games in there, so big tracks for the first 2 rounds. Australia is a double header, and then also the finale, which will be technically the 4th round, which will be in Abu Dhabi, and the finale will be there, and it's more of an arena cross style track. It's the same track and same location they raced at last year, so I'm honestly very interested to see how Eli Tomac does on an enduro arena cross track, not enduro cross, arena cross track. Eli Tomac is such a bulldog. He's just such a gnarly rider, so to see him harness the power of a Yamaha 450 inside a small stadium will be interesting to see. So cool to see Eli back racing though. This shows that he's trying to ramp up again and get ready for Supercross in 2025, and it's all good news for motocross fans. Also, MXA Fantasy League app is still going strong, and this weekend we're giving away a $1,500 shopping spree to ADS Suspension. That's right, huge prize for the winner of the MXA Fantasy League app for this weekend at the Ironman National. So get your picks in. Yes, Ken Roczen will be in the 250 class, so be sure to add him in there. See if you'll put him in the top 6. It's a big question, and I'm sure some big points will be up for grabs this weekend. So ADS Suspension, making awesome off-road suspension for your truck, getting you to the track in style and in comfort. So thanks to ADS Suspension for sponsoring this weekend. Also, MXA Fantasy League app designed in-house by MXA test rider Justin Lee. He had a busy one this last week. He raced the Vegas to Reno desert race, 555 miles. They started at 6 a.m. in the morning. They ended the race at 4 p.m. in the afternoon. They got 6th place in the amateur expert class, and Justin, he did 160 of those miles himself. So pretty cool. The whole team had matching FTA gear, and they were looking good out there in the neon highlighter color. Gnarly weekend of race, or week of racing for him. Raced out on Friday and also raced the Surfercross event. So Justin is the surfer of the crew. He loves surfing, and he also loves that event. He's actually won Surfercross before. This time, not at the front of the pack though. He was racing our KTM 150, so starts were not his strong point. So he ended up 9th overall combined score. So, and lastly, we have an interview with Caleb Tetangco. We just tested his bike. If you haven't checked it out yet, it's on our YouTube channel. We have the full video on there and on our website. YZ85 DRD exhaust on it, pipe and silencer. Pretty cool testing that little bike out, and fun talking to Caleb about his bike. Let's hear from him now. So if you haven't seen it yet, we just posted our video on Caleb Tetangco's YZ85 project bike. I had a ton of fun putting this bike together. Psychic clutch, we got heavy duty clutch springs inside of here. We got Achirby's plastics, white on the rear. We got Guts seat cover on top, Enzo Racing suspension, but most importantly, we have the DRD pipe and silencer on here. Jahan, his dad, and Caleb here have been developing this new pipe and silencer alongside Doug Dubach. So Caleb, what's it like for you to test with Yamaha and test with pipes and silencers with your dad and with Doug?
It's definitely really fun, and it's a really cool experience. It's cool to be developing something for the future.
So how much time do you think you guys put on this one, trying out different prototypes, and now finally getting to ride the stock, the production version of the DRD pipe and silencer?
I haven't kept count.
Really?
For at least a year.
All right, and then what's it like seeing Doug ride your bikes?
Funny.
Really?
Yeah, it's funny to see him rip a little bike.
Yeah, and what about me? Was it weird seeing me hop on your bike?
Yeah.
I'm a little bit taller than Doug Dubach, but I don't know how much he weighs, but I'm 175, 6 foot tall. So it's a little bit sketchy for me to ride the YZ85 today, but awesome to see that DRD is kind of making a resurgence now. Jahan Tetangco bought DRD, and Doug Dubach is still high and in charge product officer. So every pipe and silencer, every header and muffler that comes through the factory has to be checked off by Doug. He rides them, he develops them alongside Caleb when it comes to the mini bike stuff. So if you haven't yet, check out that video. My favorite part about this bike though is the Nihilo ignition cover with the custom MXA logo engraved into it. Pretty sick bike. Last question for you. Are you stoked on how this thing came out?
Oh, for sure, very stoked.
What was it like last night when you first saw it in your garage?
Ooh.
Yeah?
Yeah, I can't wait to ride it. That's my first thought.
Nice. All right, and what about your buddies? Are they stoked on it too?
Oh yeah, they like it a lot.
Well, check out that video now on our YouTube channel and website. All right, well that's all for this week in MXA. Thank you guys for tuning in. As always, check out Motocross Action Mag on Instagram for daily updates. Our website, motocrossactionmag.com. And if you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel and you stayed all the way through to the end of this video, that must mean that you like this video. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to let us know how we're doing, and keep up with all of our latest videos. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.